Today is the 26th of March and we have an exclusive opportunity to give you the first hands-on on the new Huawei P40 Pro flagship mobile phone. It is just 1 year since the release of the predecessor, the P30 Pro. A lot has happened. In fact, the whole world has changed. First we had a trade war, now we have a global pandemic, and this phone couldn't have come in a weirder time. So, instead of being in Paris at the global premiere, we're giving you our first impressions in more isolated manner. Considering everything that has happened at the moment and all the customs and transport problems, the phone came to us about an hour ago. So there is no time for more in-depth look, but please stay tuned as we do have a detailed review coming soon. In this video, there won't be any photos and video examples since there was no time to prepare those due to the curfew that is in effect, but our preliminary first few shots indicate that it might be extraordinary. The Huawei P40 Pro comes with a 6.58-inch OLED screen with 1200x2640 pixel resolution and a 90Hz refresh rate. It has a high density of 441 pixels per inch and the screen takes up to 91.6% of the phone's front surface. Our first impression is that it also has an above average brightness. Screen edges are curved, not as much as on the Mate 30 Pro, but more than on Samsung's latest S20 series models. You can't fail to notice the huge dual selfie camera hole up in the front, something like we've seen on Samsung last year, and we have to say we're not the biggest fans of it. Okay, some may argue that it has a TOF sensor and therefore offers better biometrics and face recognition. There's also an in-screen fingerprint reader, so I'm pretty sure that someone would choose better looks over the security feature. Since we're talking about the front camera, it also has 32 megapixel sensor with a 26mm wide-angle lens and an aperture of f2.2. Having used the P30 Pro a lot over the past year, there's a noticeable weight and thickness difference. 9mm doesn't make it the thinnest phone around, and 11 grams heavier than its predecessor as well. Yeah, I do know it's not much, but you can notice the difference as P40 Pro weighs in at 203 grams. The phone has an aluminum frame and glass on both front and back. Not sure yet on the exact glass type, but judging from the experience of using both P30 Pro and Galaxy S10 Plus, I have to say that Huawei turned out to be more resilient to scratches, as after a full year of use it had absolutely none, and with no extra protective foil either, while the famed Gorilla Glass picked up quite a few scratches in just a few months. We are curious on how you're going to like the design of the back of this phone, after the infamous iPhone and Samsung kitchen stoves. Huawei is not that far off either, so we are expecting there will be a lot of critique since the camera module is quite prominent and visually dominates the back surface of the phone. The trend is what it is and it will pass sooner or later, though we have to say that we think the Leica branding makes the whole thing look at least a bit better than the competition, same as it did last year. Please do let us know in the comments below which of the latest Apple, Samsung and Huawei offerings do you think look the best. Along the right side of the phone there is the usual power and volume keys, while on the left side is devoid of any elements. On the top there's only a microphone hole, with the bottom side holds a primary microphone, USB 3.1 Type-C port and a speaker grill. Bad news is that there is no stereo sound, again, which is something that we would not only like but expect on a high-class phone like this. 3.5mm jack is also absent, but we stopped expecting that one long time ago on flagship models. The CPU is a well-known Kirin 990 with 5G support. We're still not sure if it will sell only as 5G or if we may see a non-5G versions as well. The one we got is 5G, which is also a somewhat more powerful chipset version. As a reminder, Kirin 990 is an octa-core chipset announced about 7 months ago in Berlin at IFA Fair, and so far we've only seen it on Huawei Mate 30 Pro. The phone also has 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage and supports nano memory cards up to 256GB. That goes into a hybrid SIM slot. eSIM support is also there, so you can have one regular SIM card in one slot, nano memory card in another, and still use dual SIM by utilizing the eSIM capabilities. The battery is 4200 mAh and supports 40-watt quick charge, along with the usual wireless charging and reverse wireless charging when the phone acts as a wireless power bank. After trying out all the flagships in recent years, we still think that Huawei is the king of the hill when it comes to battery life in real-world use. Connection-wise, we were surprised to find out that there is no support for the latest Wi-Fi 6 standard. FM radio is absent as well, but thankfully, infrared port is still here, which is something that, at least in my case, gets often used instead of a remote controller for various devices. Now the thing you're probably most curious about, the cameras. After all, the letter P and P40 Pro stands for photography, and Huawei has been raising the bar in the last couple of years with its P series in spring, while competition trying to catch up later that year. So, have they done it again? The new camera system has 4 lenses, 2 of which are RYYB sensors, a Huawei specialty we mentioned a few times previously. The main sensor is a 50 megapixel ultra vision with an f1.9 aperture and optical stabilization. It uses an octa-phase detection autofocus and pixel binning technology. The other RYYB sensor is an ultra-wide 40 megapixel one with an f1.8 aperture, which is most intended for video, thus the cinema in its name, and of course supports optical stabilization. Last year, the telephoto camera was quite a success, and now we've got a super sensing zoom with its 5x optical and 50x hybrid zoom. This camera has a 12 megapixel 123mm equivalent sensor with an optical stabilization, which is a must for telephoto lens. Last but not, maybe it is least, is the usual time-of-flight 3D depth sensor. We should mention that the phone we got is not a retail model, but the camera quality on it looks very promising. We hope to receive a retail version in a few days, so our full review will give us a good idea on what P40 Pro is capable in the camera department. As for the OS, the phone comes with an Android 10 AOSP edition with HMS, that's Huawei Mobile Services, since as you may know, the phone can't use the Google Mobile Services in Play Store. But more on that on our review. The user interface is a well-known EMUI 10, which we have no complaints for other than maybe we would like to see about 10% smaller icons on it. Today's Huawei press conference in China will probably give us some more details, as well as present the regular P40, maybe even P40 Pro Plus, which could be a great response to Samsung's S20 Ultra and bring even beefier specs like bigger 120Hz screen, 5500 mAh battery, and an even better camera system. At a decent price, of course. Speaking of which, P40 Pro should retail at about 1,000 euros. So, what are the first impressions about this phone? We can't say much about how it behaves before we do a full test, but it's more or less in the ballpark of what we expected. Cameras are once again the main feature of the Huawei P series, as it is a matter of prestige to have the best one, and Huawei does manage to deliver year after year. Now, video was also improved significantly on the Mate 30 Pro, so we expect at least another step further in that direction. But let's leave that and for our more in-depth review. We hope you liked the first look, and we thank Huawei for this exclusive chance to show you the P40 Pro. Thank you for watching our first impressions of the Huawei P40 Pro. Please stay tuned for more reviews and feel free to drop a like and comment below if you enjoyed this video. My name is Marco, and I will see you next time.